This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
So I feel right now this is the most important thing that needs to happen for the tremendous potential that human beings hold in their hands because of access to technology and science and various other possibilities that we have. If only the necessary blossoming happens within the human being, which every human being is capable of, we will create a fabulous world. And I think as a generation we should strive for that.
Happiness is inside, it's up to you. Whatever you want, everything is in this piece of life, and that's what they're sharing with you here, and I think it's just an honor and privilege to be here.
You know, if you had told me that I was going to go listen to a guru, I would say you're out of your mind. But he's such a down-to-earth and straightforward, honest and funny, but at the same time extraordinarily thoughtful and insightful person, that it's just an amazing opportunity to be with someone like that who thinks so deeply.
Yes, I'm a volunteer with the Isha Foundation and have helped with many programs. And in real life, I'm an artist. I was a nurse.
Why a foundation like this is because it's needed more than anything in the world today, because as a generation of people, we've reached a place where everything else is in place, only the human being is not in place. Like, we have comforts like never before, we have conveniences like never before. In every way, we are the most comfortable generation ever on this planet, materially. But we cannot say we are the most joyful generation on the planet. We cannot say we are the most peaceful or loving or any of these things. So everything else is in place like never before. Only the human being is displaced within himself. So the most important thing that needs to happen is right now for human beings to become meditative. When I say meditative, I am not talking about meditation as some practice, I'm talking about meditation as a quality within ourselves. If we set the right kind of conditions in our body, in our minds, emotions and our life energies, meditation will blossom within us. It's not something that we do, it's something that we become.
This isn't just a homage to some idea that we talk about, holding hands and singing Kumbaya. This can only happen when we access what is making us tick on the inside. Because once we access that, we'll realize that what makes myself tick and you tick and everybody in the world tick is exactly the same thing. And then peace will come naturally about the world. It won't become because we decide that we need to feed these people or do this or that. They're all wonderful ideas to help humanity. But if we're genuinely looking for world peace, once we find peace within ourselves, peace on the outside is a foregone conclusion.
A very needed event to bring more awareness to people in the USA, throughout the world, about the fact that we do need humans to stop this savage way of treating each other. Of course, that is what we see most on the news. We don't often see the other aspects, but so much change needs to happen. And Isha Foundation, I believe, is right at the forefront of making this change. And individual people all working towards it, individual people changing within so that they're more peaceful and joyful. And it'll create a much more peaceful world in the long run. It takes so many volunteers to do some of these things, and we have an incredible amount of volunteer manpower that goes into conducting these. And I've watched over the years, it just grows and grows and grows. And I have no doubt that it will just continue to grow to many, many countries, not only here in the US, but overseas, Australia, Europe, Middle East, Asia, many, many different places, South America, Africa. It's already going, so it's happening.
We engage the youth, and we even have kids that we play with. And then we even have Sadhguru, which is the guy that created Isha Foundation, come and even talk about it. So it's all about celebration, world peace from every angle.
It's been a great day so far. I'm one of the student speakers who is having a healthy debate about competition and other aspects that relate to peace. And it's just been phenomenal coming together of people who all have the same goal of making the world a more peaceful, more pleasant place to be.
Got to come to Isha today to hear Sadhguru speaking about world peace, and it was really one of the most extraordinary days that I've had in my life. It's such a privilege to be around this man. You know, if you had told me that I was going to go listen to a guru, I would say you're out of your mind. But he's such a down-to-earth and straightforward, honest and funny, but at the same time extraordinarily thoughtful and insightful person, that it's just an amazing opportunity to be with someone like that who thinks so deeply about world peace. And you know, it sounds like kind of a frou-frou idea, having world peace, something we're always at war, there's always some war going around, there's never going to be world peace. But it doesn't mean that we should stop struggling for it. And all you have to do is look at some of the losses that families have had, you know, in these different wars that we've fought, and know that what we really have to struggle for is peace. And that's the message that he brought to us today.
How to make this happen at its ultimate possibility, not in a mediocre way, in its fullest dimension. See, suppose you plant an apple tree. If you give it the necessary ambience and nourishment, it will become a full-fledged apple tree. So the seed of the apple has all this. Similarly, every human being, if he is given an inner ambience and the nourishment that is needed within himself, he will become a full-blown human experience. It does not need any teaching or outside inputs. All it needs is a perfect ambience. So the technology is only about providing that inner ambience so that your own intelligence, your own logic, your own emotions do not turn against you. Right now, that is what humanity is suffering from. It's not about what somebody else is doing to you. Your own intelligence, your own emotions, your own chemistry is turning against you in the form of ailments, in the form of different sufferings, because over 70% of the world's human ailments are self-created, it's happening from within the system. That means our own body is turning against us because we don't know how to keep it. They're experiential. This is why this is called as inner engineering, technologies for well-being. It is not something that it is not a teaching, it is not a philosophy, it is not an ideology, it is not a belief system, it is a technology. That means you just have to learn how to use it. So why I'm calling it a technology is, it doesn't matter what you believe in or you don't believe in. That's up to you. It doesn't matter which culture you come from, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman or whatever you are. If you learn to use it, it works. Suppose you take your phone, if you learn to use it, it'll work for you. If I learn to use it, it'll work for me. It doesn't matter whether we agree with each other or not. But if you learn to use it, it'll work. So it is offered as a technology so that every human being can make use of it. Today millions of people are there across the planet. They're made like this today, if they just as much as close their eyes, tears of ecstasy will drip out of them. I can show you millions like this. So this is the basis of what we are doing.
Isha is amazing. I was so surprised when I was told that Isha was here in Tennessee, because I would, generally speaking, I would think that it would be somewhat incongruous. But, you know, in fact, it's such an amazing place and really, I think, fits the area and fits the people of Tennessee really beautifully, just because they're so dedicated to living life fully here.
About 6 years ago, my mother-in-law told me, I went and attended a lecture and a talk. You have to go take this course called Inner Engineering. So me and my wife took that course in Laguna Beach with Sadhguru, and that changed my life. So I've been practicing Isha that Sadhguru taught me at that time, as well as other courses I've taken since then. It's made me so much more efficient. It's made me change how I actually perceive things. I've been able to simply decide what needs to be done, do it, and not have too much thought about all of the monkey mind thinking of various other things that really slow me down. So it's made me efficient at work. I've been able to do far more surgery, see far more patients than I ever have, with a lot less stress, with a lot more joy than I've ever been able to. And most importantly, my relationships at home and with others have improved substantially. So I've found both of them to be highly useful, just as regular traits.
First started with Isha in 2004. At that time I was suffering some pretty significant health problems. I didn't have success with anything. So when I found the possibility of inner engineering, I was quite intrigued, and my life has really transformed as a result. Some of the very tangible things is my health and my skin got much better. What was very painful and difficult before became something I could handle, became something my health just came naturally to my body. But that's just the physical benefits. I've become a much more calm person. I'm much more able to handle situations in life that I never would have thought possible for me to handle, period, let alone handling it calmly and putting my best face and my best foot forward. I would say my life right now is 85–90% better. I'm a work in progress, as all of us are. But the way I understand it is that the same energy that is allowing your ears to hear me at this time, the same energy that is making your heart beat and for you to see me and for all your viewers to perceive this video, that same energy can be used and consciously harnessed so you can use it to build your optimal health.
Management is for things that are precious to us. We manage things which are precious to us. Your family, your money, your business and home must be managed. Why should you manage something that you don't need? So stress is not a part of you. Stress is a certain friction that is happening within your own system. If your mind took instructions from you, would it be stressful, I'm asking? Would you generate stress or joy? So right now the problem is not of stress, the problem is your mind is not taking instructions from you. Suppose you're driving your car, and if your car does not take instructions from you, what will happen? Dangerous, isn't it? Similarly, life is dangerous when your own mind and your own body does not take instructions from you. So people are existing with such a danger all the time, and it makes them very anxious because they know they're not in control of themselves. To create strife and conflict, it takes effort. To be in harmony, it doesn't take any effort. If you just sit here, you're in perfect harmony, you know there's no conflict happening. Conflict takes effort. So why are people getting into conflict? There is a need for human being to be little more than what he or she is right now. If that little more happens, little more. If that little more happens, little more. So if you look at this, you're trying to essentially expand. Initially you think this is about money, this is about wealth, this is about property, this is about something or something. But actually if you look at it, the only longing you have is you want to expand. Your currency may be different depending upon what you're exposed to in your life. Whatever each individual is exposed to, accordingly somebody is looking for money, somebody is looking for knowledge, somebody is looking for love, but basically expansion is what we're looking for. So how much expansion will settle you for good? If you look at this, you need boundless expansion. That is the nature of the human being, nothing wrong with that. The problem is right now, we are so identified with our physical nature, we think we have to stretch ourselves physically. Physically, if you try to stretch your boundary, you will encroach upon me and I will confront you in some way and there's going to be a conflict. So the problem is, what is an inner longing to expand limitlessly, we are trying to give a physical expression to it. Physical always comes with a defined boundary. Only because there is a defined boundary for this body, you can call it a physical body. If I take away the boundaries of your body, this will not be a physical body, isn't it? Physical comes with a defined boundary, but your longing is to become boundless. And that longing has to find expression in a way which is beyond physicality, because that has not been cultivated in a society. Every human being is in a turmoil and a struggle, as if life is a struggle. So a lot of people are belting out philosophy saying that life itself is a struggle. Life is not a struggle, your mind is a struggle, because you don't know how to keep it. Mind is a miracle. A miracle has been transformed into a misery manufacturing machine right now, because such a great potential, they've not been taught how to use it.
The vision will be to have a place where people can come and learn the tools, to be given the tools to increase their level of efficiency in the world. And by that, it's a matter of becoming more balanced inside, more peaceful inside, and more clear inside, more strong inside. And with that, they'll be much more able to cope with the world, and there'll be less conflict. I've noticed that with myself in so many ways. So the goal here is to have a place where people can come and learn different practices. There'll be practices for people who have 5 minutes. There'll be practices for people who have 30 minutes. There'll be practices for people who have more than that. There'll be a rejuvenation center, so people with health problems can come. And there'll be different modalities of treatment for those. And it'll be gleaned from very ancient sciences, and very wonderful place. And for those who just want to come out here and enjoy the space and hike, bike, there are programs here where we have these retreats, and people can come for a whole weekend. They can even come for longer if they wish. And those who wish for just a day, those who wish for just a few hours, they can come. So many different things.
Yes, there are programs being conducted here and also in various cities. And it's also offered online, that people can actually do the initial part of the program online, and just the practice part they can come and learn. So that opportunity is also there. What I see is, if America drinks Coca-Cola, the rest of the world is drinking Coca-Cola. If America wears pants which are torn at the knee, the whole world is wearing that. If America meditates, the world will meditate, so America must meditate. This is the responsibility for the American people.
When we meditate, one of the things you naturally end up doing is to breathe deeper. If you wanted to explain this physiologically, we have a vagus nerve in the body that controls the parasympathetic tone or the relaxation tone in our body. We also have the opposite, which is the sympathetic tone in our body, which affects our flight and flight response, our anger, our need to be careful, our need to be very vigilant. All of those things cause increased catecholamines and other factors that make us much more tense. These close up our blood vessels, make us much more stressed. And when we actually do the opposite, which is actually increase the vagal response by breathing deeply and expanding that area and making us much more peaceful, we actually relax more into it, our blood vessels relax, and we feel much more at peace. And a lot of the issues that happen with constant stress go away. This is the medical response, but what I feel personally is I just feel a lot more active, a lot more energized at the end of doing meditation practice.
Well, meditation, it allows you to focus on what's inside of you and not necessarily what's outside of you. And so you begin to realize that how you feel isn't based on outside situations, but it's an internal thing. And when you realize it's an internal thing, you can make yourself blissful or happy or as peaceful as you want to be. I've been meditating for about 11 years now, but I've been meditating with Isha for about 2 weeks now. So I got my initiation in Shambhavi about 2 weeks ago.
I calm myself down every morning, every afternoon, every evening with yoga and meditation, and I find that that provides me a very blissful and peaceful experience. But it's also about kind of calming the mind and not letting myself take anything too seriously, not become too judgmental of myself or others. And it's small reminders, it's small nuggets of wisdom that I carry with myself about how to regulate my emotions and how to interact with people in a simple, blissful way.
There are other places in the country that have more concentration of meditators, but McMinnville offers a lot of possibilities. Number one is that it offers a relatively centralized setting. I think that having it in the woods and having it in this space creates a space where people can dissociate from what they consider all the important things in their lives. And I use those quotes because I know everyone at some point has gotten to the point in themselves where they're like, these things that I'm worried about aren't so important. And if we leave ourselves in that environment, in the city, amongst the social media, who can be blamed for not being able to pull back and see the relative importance of taking care of themselves? And when you have a center such as this that has a silence such as this, it offers a huge possibility for everyone in the country and everyone around the world.
If we create peaceful human beings, we don't have to bother about world peace, particularly the leadership on the planet. If they become meditative, the leaders of the world, if they become meditative, they start valuing life more than conquests. If they start valuing the quality of life that all of us live here, in how we live here, rather than what we have and what we can acquire, if that comes from the leadership, when I say leadership, I'm not talking only about the president and politicians, there are various kinds of leaders. Like a musician can be a leader, a film star can be a leader, a sports person can be a leader. There are a million people looking up to you. You must do the right thing.
The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes. The slow moon climbs. The deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off, and sitting well in order, smite the sounding furrows. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars before I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be that we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.